So folks, our blessings, good morning, good evening and good afternoon to our many followers and television viewers of LNTV Liberia Live and ELBC 99.9 FM. My name is Masiame Kone and I'm coming to you live at the Ministry of Information. So today is Thursday and today is February 19, 2026, 14th edition of MOI regular press briefing. So arrival and sitting of journalists was done by 11:30 a.m. Arrival and sitting of guests is to be done by 11:45 a.m. but we are still here waiting the guest. Welcome statement will be done by Honorable Daniel Otesano. He's the Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs here at MOI. Also, to the MOI press briefing will be addressed by Honorable Journalist Matthew Piah, Minister of Information. So, Honorable Piah is expected to speak on trending key national issues, concerns, and provide updates on ongoing government initiatives, and will be followed by questions and answers. So, to follow, please tune to ELBC 99.9 FM on www.elbcradio.com, Ablij Online Television in Grand Bassa County, Liberia Public Radio in US and KMTV. You can also join the Ministry of Information Facebook page live and various community radio stations. So once again, if you are just joining, I would like to say welcome to this live broadcast. I'm coming to you live at the Ministry of Information. Still of us, I was taking still of us as a bring you full coverage of MOI press briefing. So Honorable Piah is expected to outline ongoing rural rehabilitation projects, particularly in southeastern Liberia, aimed at improving access to markets and essential services. The minister will also touch on the government improvement in electricity distribution through TrueLiberia Electricity Corporation, including substation upgrades and expansion into unsafe community. So in education sectors, Minister Piah will also touch on government continuing teachers recruitment and vocational training initiatives, while health authority also. He will also emphasize Liberia's commitment to climate resilience, not to continue efforts to position the countries within global climate finance mechanism. So once again, if you are just joining, I would like to say welcome to this live broadcast. I'm coming to you live at the Ministry of Information. So that's the arrival of the Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs, Honorable Daniel Otesano. That's the arrival of Honorable Daniel Otesano.
Of Liberia broadcast system, and today is right here at the Ministry of Information to bring you up to speed of all the happenings here from the Ministry of Information. Well, this afternoon, the Minister General Matthew Piah will address the press on trending national issues, providing updates on some of the issues that are trending on social media. Well, we have the Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs here currently. Well, Minister Sano, what are some of the issues that the Minister will be discussing today?
Well, a lot of issues to talk about, as always. You know very well that the Ministry of Information regular press briefing is the official place where the government of Liberia will speak to issues. As always, our focus is on telling the government development stories, some of the things that are happening in the rural infrastructure, electricity, investment. So there are a lot of issues that we'll talk about. So today, as we expect the minister to walk in, he's going to be throwing light on some of the very important things that happen in the country. He's also going to be making some remarks on some very pertinent issues. As an official spokesperson of the government, when he mounts the podium to speak, the nation's listening, the world listening. So yes, go ahead.
Minister Sano, will the minister be speaking towards the resignation of the police spokesperson, Cecilia Clark?
I'm not too sure it's something that we want to elevate at this level. This is the official government platform. When somebody decides to resign, my position is voluntary. So how should that be a topical issue that we should elevate here at the Ministry of Information? I think the police have got a very serious team that is managing the affairs of the RMP. They can handle that for themselves. When we come here, we want to speak on issues that the nation is listening to, because this is where the news is made for the government of Liberia.
Thank you, Minister Sanu.
You're most welcome, and I look forward to seeing you in there.
Okay, Chief.
Thank you.
Well, you've just listened to the Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs, Minister Sanu. Well, you heard from him that Minister Piah will be addressing key national issues and providing updates on ongoing government initiatives. And some of the issues that Minister Sanu will be speaking to us will be the development issues, and that's the road construction issues. That's one of the key issues that Minister Sanu will be speaking to us. Well, in a moment from now, the Minister of Information, Minister Dominic Piah, will mount the podium to address the press. Well, studio, if you are there, you will rejoin him once we receive the words. Thank you.
So that's it as we await the arrival of Honorable TrueLiberia Piah. Honorable Piah is expected to provide fresh updates on trending national development efforts, and he will also highlight progress in infrastructure, energy expansion, agriculture, youth employment, and environmental governance. So that's the arrival of Honorable TrueLiberia Piah. That's the arrival of Honorable TrueLiberia Piah. He's now walking towards the conference room. So if you are just joining, once again, I would like to say welcome to this live broadcast. I'm coming to you live at the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs, Ministry of Information. Keep following.
Well, as you can see, the Minister of Information, Minister TrueLiberia Piah, is now walking towards the conference room where he will be addressing key national issues and providing updates on ongoing government initiatives.
I'd like to welcome you and invite Mr. Samuel and National Podium to introduce to you the spokesperson of the government, Mr. Samuel.
So that the voice of the outside 16 Minister for Information Services are Lawrence M. Family. Next is Honorable Daniel Otesano. He's the Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs here at MOI. Keep following.
Good afternoon again. We are very excited to have all of you here at the Ministry of Information. I see all of you. There are a good number of you here today. I see all of the gadgets in place. It is very encouraging that on a daily basis, the interest that the public has developed in the Ministry of Information press briefing continue to increase. I mean, that alone is a testament that the work we are doing here is making some great impact out there. It's very meaningful. And so we do not intend to rest on our laurels, but to improve. So today is another edition of the government press briefing. Like I said, we are excited to have you. We had a meeting with the government public relations officers yesterday. That meeting was very fruitful. And we intend to continue working, coordinating with all government PR officers across ministries, agencies, and commissions with the goal of enhancing the government communication draft. So as we have all gathered, and I see your gadgets are in place, I want us to please bear in mind that those cell phones that continue to cause distraction, and our guest or the minister is speaking, I want to re-emphasize that It is absolutely unacceptable. So it is not difficult in coming to the conference room. Before the press conference starts, just put the phone on silent. Or just put on do not disturb. You put on do not disturb, no matter what call you. When you see this call, actually didn't know that technique. So thank you very much. And please to now invite Mr. Jeremic Matthew Piah, who will speak to you, and then we'll take questions. He will respond to those questions. And so here.
So we just listened to Honorable Otisano, he stands Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs here at the Ministry of Information. This is Honorable Jeremic Matthew Piah, Minister of Information. So once again, we're just joining us. I would like to say welcome to this live broadcast. I'm coming to you live at the Ministry of Information. So sticking still with us, as we bring you full coverage of MOI Press briefing.
Don't feel too well, just this is a cold outside. So I hope I can stay on my feet for as long as the briefing points will take. I see new analysis being introduced. By the way, some of you are conducting coverage of the press conference. I know Vision has always been focused on following us from the hallway coming in. But I see a new dynamism from the state broadcaster, LNTV and ELBC. They've introduced something new, maybe they learn from Vision, I don't know. But it's okay, it draws the excitement, it shows there is some level of professionalism, so I want to commend the crew for adding new flavor to the way you do your coverage of the press conference. The last time we had the EU ambassador here, she spoke on several different issues, including what the EU has been doing in Liberia, but one major thing she also talked about was that the EU and the Liberian government have both organized the EU Liberia Business Forum. That forum takes place next week in the Belgian capital of Brussels. Several key government sectors will be there. The goal is, and I think the EU has done a great job in bringing together European investors to pitch to them as a country on investment opportunities that are here that seem to attract some of the European companies and investors to Liberia. So different sectors of the government will be there to engage those investors at the business forum. I will also be there myself. I leave over the weekend to go to Brussels. And while in Brussels, the Deputy Minister for Public Affairs will steer the affairs of the ministry as acting minister in collaboration with the rest of the team. It is our hope that that business forum will yield some very positive evidence for our country. We're concerned about job creation, we want to expand the economy. And we can only do all of those if we set ourselves as a country and are able to attract businesses and investors here who will provide the jobs we need. The University of Liberia has been celebrating 75 years of existence as the University of Liberia. You know, they used to be called at your college, then the transition to the University of Liberia has been 75 long years. And they are celebrating the got a number of guests from the US, mainly the Alumni Association in the Americas. We brought along the University Chorus that had been established on that again, our service that the organized on Sunday. And the chorus here, the one from the States, all joined together and they had a very wonderful performance. Most of the members, especially those with you and appear to be aging, but their voices are still very strong and they were extremely entertaining. But it's good to also know that as the university is celebrating 75 years of existence, they are also processing activities surrounding the 105th commencement exercises of the university, the class of 2025. They've been having different activities and some of them have passed, but we just mentioned that on Monday, the 16th, they had the art and craft exhibition was held at Ministerial. It started at 10 a.m. On Tuesday, the 17th, they had a research symposium. That was a College of Gender Studies and Interdisciplinary Research. It also took place at Ministerial, 1 p.m. On Wednesday, February 18, 2026, we had the Oath and Honors Program, the AMW College of Medicine, the School of Pharmacy, the School of Medicine, and the College of Health Science, where the entities or the sectors of the university that were involved with that. On the 19th, which is today, is the Faculty Scholastic Recognition and Honoring of the Education Faculty. It's supposed to start 10 a.m. on the Fender campus. Probably is going on. Tomorrow is Friday. The 20th will be the alumni homecoming. It starts from 11 a.m. on the main campus here on the Capitol Hill. On Saturday, the 21st, will be the UL Staff Association All-Star Day. It starts at 10 a.m. at the Fender campus. Then on the 25th, which is Wednesday, all undergraduate colleges will have a combined commencement exercise, and it will take place at Fender. Then on Friday, the 27th, 2026, all of the graduate and professional schools will have their commencement convocation beginning at 9:30 a.m. at the Fender campus. On Saturday, February 28th, will be the UL Faculty Association Offer Day. It will start from 11 a.m. at the Fender campus. So it was meant to bring you up to speed with what is happening at the university, especially as they are doing their graduation ceremonies. It is not just about that. The government is also very intentional, strategic, and deliberate about keeping the university going. So you will note that in the current national budget, the university's budget rose to 40 million USD. And in addition to the 40 million budget, the government provided an additional $6 million to ensure that the facilities of the university, their buildings are, we've all complained about that they are refurbished and rehabilitated. The funding for that, as I said, is different from the 40 million that the government has given the university in this fiscal budget. But because we all know the state of affairs at the university, the way the structures are, additional $6 million was made available for the overall refurbishment of the facilities of the University of Nigeria. This, by the way, is a demonstration of the government's desire to see what is the country's premier higher institution of learning continue to be kept afloat and provide the kind of education that our young people need. Yesterday, there were reports of some violent activities close to the Ashtabita facilities in Nimba County. A recognized group called AFCOMS, Liberia Welcome. They've been pursuing a reported ending of project benefits. The individuals or group involved are not linked directly with Ashton Mitar. Mitar provides opportunity for different contracting companies and firms to perform special services in the mining area. So those entities that are normally beneficiary of that contractor agreement would then recruit contractors who would do the job on their behalf. Fortunately for them, because they've been consistency in issuing contracts, so they've always been renewing the services of their contractors. And that has gone on for about 3 or more years now. So those contractors who have been working with the entities that have been contracted, at the end of the 3 years, those companies or entities were now receiving further contract from National Mitar, which means the contractors that they recruited themselves will also now have contract anymore. But then these contractors were saying, because you are at the end of the project, certain stuff will not be reviewed. They were seeking severance or end of project benefit. Severance benefits are meant for full-time employees, not contractors. But in their minds, they were entitled to it, and they've been agitating or receiving that. They assembled and protested, and during their disturbances, they obstructed the movement of AFCOM senior staff. They diverted company vehicles towards Likepa instead of Montokade. And based on reports that their violent actions were escalating and have transitioned into a riot, the Assistant Police Commissioner in Nimba, Lami Mendy, through established chain of command, was mandated to proceed to Yekepa along with PSU officers from the regional headquarters. As a result of their operations, 27 suspects were arrested while engaged in acts of violence. Also during the confrontation, 8 police officers sustained severe injuries. The injured officers are Sergeant Benjamin Biere, Sergeant Carrington Wu, Patrolman Anders Toa, Patrolman Sam Fassa, Patrolman Emmanuel Flomo, Patrolman Abdullah Kemuka, Peter Flomo, and James Jimmy. The above injured officers were initially taken to the Ashton Mitar Hospital for emergency medical attention and subsequently transferred to the JFK Medical Center for further treatment. All arrested suspects are currently detained pending further scrutiny and investigation. The investigations are ongoing and the public will be provided updates as they may arrive. But it's important to also note that during the confrontation, a single barrel round was reportedly discharged from the side of the rioters, striking one police officer in the chest and causing injury. This incident clearly indicates that the rioters had a firearm in their possession. The government wants to be clear that while the rights of citizens to raise grievances will always and should always be protected, acts of lawlessness that scare away investors should not be encouraged. We know the country complains a lot about jobs. Everybody wants jobs. The jobs are not easily just created internally. It takes investors with money, like the efforts we're going to make in Brussels, to see the need to invest in your country. And when they come, their investments are meant to harness and strengthen your economy, but also, most importantly, to provide jobs. If the country is perceived as a lawless country, where citizens normally take the law into their own hands when they have grievances, who's going to bring business here? Who's going to bring their investments here? And so the government frowns on these acts of violence. And that is the reason why those who have been arrested and are currently in custody will be thoroughly investigated. And once it is established that crimes were committed and the individuals committing the crimes are known, they will be charged and prosecuted to the full extent of the law as a way of deterring people from constantly engaging in acts of violence and vandalism. But more concerningly, there are people who claim to be civilians and want to express grievances will also have firearms in their possession. This is unacceptable, and that is why the action that will be taken will be decisive. While that situation was going on in Nimba, there was another situation in their own mines area. China Union came into Liberia during the Saliba administration. Apparently their business outlook was not prosperous, so they folded out. Another company came and took over from them. That company basically is starting from scratch to see what they can feed them. It is encouraged because, again, we're trying to create jobs for our citizens. But then there were obligations, according to the information we received from China Union, that folded out. And some of the residents in that place have been demanding the new company to meet those obligations almost immediately. If a new investor is taking over from something that was a failed investment, they need to put their foot down to be able to, so they've been engaged and say, look, yeah, we know that maybe the company will take over from gas and obligation, and we can work together and have it done. Again, in the midst of the dialogue going on, some people chose to get back to the usual thing, blocking roads and doing other things. The police had to move in to clear them in a very forceful way. And we want to encourage them. They may have genuine cases. Dialogue should be the way out. They can't lead us. That district, the Bongman, the representative, there are other leaders. They can work through their leadership to engage the new company rather than resort into protest, blocking road and infringing on the rights of others who are interested in freely travel. So we want to encourage our people to be lawful. Yes, you may have grievances. Yes, it will be your right to raise those grievances, but you have to do them within the confines of the law. There has been report that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has failed to provide salary payment for diplomatic staff in about 30 or so diplomatic missions abroad. So the ministry wishes to clarify that that information as has been circulated is not true. The country currently maintains 30 diplomatic missions overseas, and salaries and benefit payment are processed on a regular basis. So while minor administrative challenges affected a limited number of payments between October and December 2025, the issues were isolated and they have since been addressed. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning convened a joint working session on February 17, 2026 at the Ministry to review the matter and identify the source of that limited bottleneck. The review revealed that the mission in Brussels have been particularly affected after full payments processed in October were returned to the Central Bank of Liberia on 3 separate occasions. Further review established that the returned payments resulted from transmission misalignments associated with the newly implemented SWIFT banking requirements. So following those discoveries, both ministries agreed to adjust processing timelines and strengthen coordination mechanisms to better accommodate potential discrepancies that may arise between international banking systems. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs expresses its sincere appreciation to the Minister of Finance and Development Planning and his team for their prompt collaboration and commitment in resolving those limited issues. Such real-time inter-ministerial cooperation significantly strengthen government efficiency and effectiveness. The Ministry also extends gratitude to all ambassadors and heads of mission for their continuing cooperation, professionalism and dedication to advancing Liberia's diplomatic objectives. The government reassures all stakeholders of its unwavering commitment to timely payments of salaries and benefits to the Liberian Foreign Service. Enhancement efforts will continue. Also, from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Liberia and Egypt are taking important steps to deepen their bilateral relations with the signing of an MOU on diplomatic training and academic exchange on the margins of the African Union Summit that was held recently in Addis Ababa. Foreign Minister Sarah Best-Bronyanti, Her Excellency, signed on behalf of the Liberian government, while Dr. Bad Akitati, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Immigration and Egyptian repatriates of Arab Republic of Egypt signed on behalf of the government. The agreement establishes a partnership between the Gabriel L. Dennis Foreign Service Institute of Liberia and Egypt's Institute of Diplomatic Studies, and is aimed at strengthening diplomatic capacity through training programs, academic exchanges, joint research, and professional collaboration. And also on that front, it's important to just mention that our diplomatic engagements are continuing. And yesterday, 3 ambassadors credited near our capital as the new ambassador of Congo, of Venezuela, and Indonesia presented their letters of credence to the President of the Executive Mansion. The Ministry of Public Works has intentionally chosen that they will be deliberate. They will continue to put themselves in the field do routine and regular inspection of all infrastructure works that are taking place, and the goal is to ensure that the projects are being given the attention they need, that the implementation pace is continuing, and that major timelines can be met. So just yesterday, again, the minister was out in the field, visiting different places, like we said, the Second Boulevard, the Old Road area, towards the St. Paul Bridge, towards Caldwell, travel as far as Grand Cape on County, and at the Medina Rubber Road that is witnessing currently as we speak, actual pavement, asphalt pavement. And they will continue to do so because the goal is they want to do as much as can be done before we are eventually faced with the environmental condition that can slow down road work, which is when we get deeper into the rainy season. But like I told you at the last press conference, we prepared to set the date to break grounds so that Piah can commence the construction work on the Monrovia to Clay to Tottenham to Abbotsford Road. They have been mobilizing the equipment and other things have been mobilized. The mobilization site is in Sastown. Sastown is around the road to Tottenham, and that is a clear indication that that ratification that took place of the Piah agreement was not just mere formality. It was an agreement of substance, and all steps have been taken to ensure that the commencement of the work on that corridor will start very soon. The Ministry of Education convened the 2026 local scholarship. And this points to the fact that the government is also paying keen attention to the educational sector, providing both local and international scholarship. So they convened the 2026 local scholarship orientation and contract signing ceremonies for over 800 beneficiaries, marking an important step in strengthening equitable access to higher education across Liberia. The event honored the theme, the signature of promise, requires scholarship beneficiaries to formally sign contracts committing not only to academic performance, but to integrity, to discipline, and to national service. The Minister of Education reminded the students that this moment is both an opportunity, but is also an obligation. She added that their signatures represents responsibility to self, to their families, and to the country. The ministry's local scholarship program is grounded in merit, in fairness, and inclusion, ensuring students from all counties have access to opportunity based on achievement. The program also includes structured community service, reinforcing the link between education and national development. The government congratulated the new cohort of 800 beneficiaries and look forward to the impact they will make across Liberia. As you will be aware, based on the reaffirmation that Liberia will have Compact 2, the Ministry of Finance have been basically working with the IMF, with the NCC, to structure the leadership that will oversee the implementation of the Compact. So the ministry, through their Compact Development Office, is inviting applications for a number of positions. One, they would need a finance, investment, and trade specialist. The role focuses on driving private sector investment, strengthening trade and competitiveness, and helping Liberia to leverage blended finance and public-private partnership, one of the Millennium Challenge corporations. Two, they are seeking application for environmental and social performance specialists. This position will support Liberia's engagement with the MCC by ensuring that environmental, climate, and social considerations are fully integrated into national development planning and project design. Three, they are seeking application for a gender and social inclusion specialist. The role is about impact. They will help to shape national development projects by ensuring that women, vulnerable groups, and marginalized communities are fully included in Liberia's economic growth agenda under the MCC Compact. Those interested in these positions are encouraged to visit the Ministry of Finance website or their social media page for details on how to apply. We got me all in, go here, bear and go see it, I'm there. You know, first one from you're sleeping it out, you let it. What? Tell us one moment, you're sleeping it out. You see that there? The government of Liberia, via the National Lottery Authority, has launched a nationwide crackdown on underage gambling. The operation deploys inspectors to betting shops to enforce law prohibiting minors from gambling. The Lottery Authority warns that operators violating age restrictions will face penalties, suspensions, and closure. The crackdown also targets unlicensed operators. The initiative is driven by concerns over the social and psychological harm that gambling causes for young people, including addiction, poor academic performance, amongst others. While the enforcement aims to reduce access immediately, it is noted that the long-term success will require pairing it with a broader strategy. They will include public awareness campaigns, community reporting, and creating alternative economic opportunities for young people to address the root cause that draw them to gambling. The National Food Authority has received a delegation from the U.S. through the embassy at the port of Buchanan, where they held a strategic tour focused on investment readiness and operational stability. The delegation, led by the Charge Affairs and the U.S. Embassy, toured the facilities along with the Advanho Atlantic Country Manager, Eric King, and technical staff. They commended the NPA and port management for sustaining port operations and fostering an environment that enables trade and investment. The lauded the leadership of the NPA for maintaining a constructive working relationship with Advanho Atlantic and highlighted key operational developments pending final regulatory approval. And I just wanted to also mention, as I spoke about the University of Liberia graduation period, that two of the members of the senior management team at this ministry are part of the 2025 graduating class. Ms. Louisa Hill, who is our Assistant Minister for National Branding and New Media, will be conferred a degree in law from the Louis Arthur Green School of Law, while the Deputy Minister for Public Affairs, the Sector Minister who's dealing with you every day, will be conferred upon an MA degree in International Relations from the Ibrahim Banawasi Bamagida School of International Studies. So I wanted to also use this platform to congratulate the two senior managers for pursuing higher education at the nation's most prestigious tertiary institution, the University of Liberia. We hope that their degrees will, in a way, enhance the effectiveness that is required to fully discharge their duties here at the Ministry of Information. Thank you for your attention.
That was the voice of Honorable Jolamek Matthew Piah, our Minister of Information. So we just listened to him. He spoke on trends and national issues and highlights government work. So folks, if you're just joining, I would like to say welcome to this live broadcast. I'm coming to you live at the Ministry of Information. This is questions and answers. Keep following.
And we say thank you to Minister Piah for the clarity. But permit me to give you some of the speculation, especially when it comes to the University of Liberia, including some of these people who are carrying speculation. They are stakeholders, like Honorable Simon Freeman. They have always said that the University of Liberia is a state-run university, and the government always a lot of money in making sure that the university is okay. For example, last fiscal year, the University of Liberia, the government allotted about 30 million. When divided 30 million to about 20,000 students, you will have about a student to 1,000. But they have said, despite the money being given to the University of Liberia, you still have the university in a kind of shape it is. This time around, the government has allotted about 40 million, and we clarify that the government has decided to, make sure that the university gets in good shape. My question is, how fast that the public now will now see the university as it is, so that we can have a better university? Remember, this is a state-run university. Thank you.
So my name is James and I report from Radio and Republic County. Our minister, thank you so much for the information given to us in regard to development in the country. Our minister, when we carry on development here, we see improving facilities across the country. In recent time, in Bond County, opposite the Bond University, there is a building there is called the Bond Craft. And knowing that building belongs to the Ministry of Information, it was meant to annex this ministry. I mean, what has been brought to the attention of this now. And my question is, are you in know of that building that is a building that belongs to the Ministry of Information to annex? If not, I recommend that you dispatch manpower to look at that building because it's largely uraniums and there is no development as coming in full facilities now.
My name is Alison Smo and I report for Today Liberia Television. Thank you, Minister, for your presentation this afternoon. It's very good to propagate the government message to the people. But I want to understand something concerning national security in the country. In the light of recent security challenges in parts of Liberia, what new measures is the government putting in place to ensure the safety of lives and property of citizens? Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Jackson Halisefa and I report for 7TV. Mr. Minister, my question has to do with the security. The committee signed with Sierra Leone in terms of border security and combating transnational. Good afternoon, Mr. Minister. Yeah, thanks for passing your message to the people of Liberia. Yeah, my question has to do with the communique or the security pact signed by Sierra Leone and Liberia when it comes to transnational crimes. Yeah, I think over the past times we've seen Sierra Leone and Liberia doing joint border patrol, which is very good, protecting our borders and making sure that threats that exist in the past have been avoided. Now I'm asking whether similar measures have been considered in doing such between Ivory Coast and Liberia, Guinea, and the other parts of the borders that look much more vulnerable.
My name is Aruna Ibukugi and I report for today's FM. Mr. Minister, I want to say thank you very much. We recognize your effort, even though you are ill, but to make your way here to come and inform the Liberian people about the workings of their government. Now, my concern has to do with this burning issue that has been on the internet since last week, concerning a group of people calling themselves National Food Security of Liberia. Now, my question is, because they put out a release saying that the government is aware of their existence, and then we saw the Ministry of Justice putting out a release saying that they are not aware of their existence. So if these people go through the rightful procedure and then they are registered, and then will the government grant them permit in order for them to be able to operate within Liberia? My second question.
One question.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Darius today. I report for Legend News Africa. Thanks to Mr. Sino and the other senior management staff for achieving that educational achievement. And my concern also Mr. Piah. Mr. Piah, we have 15 counties in Liberia. Out of the 15 counties, we have over 15 tribes. And out of those tribes, I'm going to see Limba and Lofa photos here, covering our press conferences to interpret the talent to our citizens, especially the rural people. Why only Lofa and Limba? Because of maybe in a second.
My name is George Momo. I report for the Liberia Agency. So the aims or the effort by the government in our road sector, the prints are on the wall. There is this concern by thousands of citizens residing in the City View community. There is a stretch of road from Lone Star gas station towards the City View community to the wetland. We saw that project years ago, close to campaign. It stopped when campaign came. It picked up after election. It stopped. So in that community, play host to the mission of hope for the disabled. So I'm concerned whether the Ministry of Public Works have that role on their plate in terms of getting our work done. Thank you.
So thank you, Mubarak, about the report for DNS Liberia. Mr. Minister, Liberia is a country, is a nation of traditional norms. With the issue of sodomy, with a lot of increase of assessing sodomy in our nation. Because I've been going to the Pentagon 1976 on sodomy and sodomy, and it is punishable a crime to a year in prison. And it's a misdemeanor that is a lesser crime to felony. What is the government doing to ensure that the act of sodomy is a financial crimes and actions are more healthier punishable than they can be compared to rape as well?
My name is Joseph Yapula and I report for Cape FM. A couple of months ago, the governor of Liberia fined Variant Christian Academy and $250,000. And some administrator like institution will undergo investigation. As we speak, the school that resumed their normal academic activities. So I want to know whether the government is aware of the activities in the Soviet community. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Minister Piah, and to your platform guests as well. I'm Phil when I report for Prime FM. The issue of the presidential villa project, this ongoing local county, of course, it has lost from the news now. I'd like to bring this to attention. The government announced that the project is intended to host major MRU meetings. So I want to know if the government made efforts in seeking financial assistance from those MRU member states, or is it just a goodwill project being solely implemented by the government? Thank you.
I'm Samuel Johnson, I report for General My Television. Just a few days ago, the Supreme Court handed down a ruling in favor of Enfield former Director General Chris Piah, and the court in the ruling gave two options to the government to either reinstate Director Yang or either pay him for the remaining 5-year tenure. And since then, the government of Liberia hasn't said anything about the ruling of the Supreme Court. So I wanted to know as whether the court will reinstate the Piah or the court will pay him off.
So that's it for questions. Our journalist knows his response. Our Honorable Joel Piah. So, if you're just joining us, I would like to say welcome to this live broadcast. My name is Nasiame Kone, and I'm coming to your live at the Ministry of Information. So, stay still with us as we bring full coverage of MOI Press briefing. Keep following.
Dr. Yang was removed as the head of Enfield following an investigation by the board and a subsequent recommendation from the board calling for a removal. As a country of law, he thought that the process that led to his removal was not properly done, so he went to court. The court said the justice in Kenya, that he prayed the court for prohibition, so the justice in Kenya said why he quoted. I'm sure the authority of the president that removed him followed the court process, and we'll see what the next actions are. I can't preempt or guess why it is. But the court is the court, and I want to believe, especially the Supreme Court, that the final arbiter of justice. But after we've had some conversation with the most appropriate authorities, then maybe we'll let you know where we stand. According to you, the court gave two options: going back or pay. Why you said right? So we'll see what action will be taken. So the Ministry of Information accredits and the due recognition of media institutions to cover the ministry's press briefing. If you are one of the media institutions covering the press briefing and you choose to put a VAR reporter or Madimo reporter or ground reporter on your team, that person gets a member of your team. So we don't dictate to, I think the two language announcers you made reference to are brought by ELBC, right? We don't dictate to ELBC who will produce the press. But since you have noticed that the two reporters are from Nima and Lofa, I don't know how to whether you lie on LBC that one and you and the hospital. Then why you always use the children bring one man, the other man bring one cry, the other man bring one PC, and all the try to be here. You know, and I think part of the challenge we have is that we read politics into everything. And I guess Larry's question is informed by the fact that, okay, President Bola is from Lofa. Jeremiah come from Nima, so they wouldn't bring in Nima and Lofa. And that's the good man said, I think, is generally that kind of question. So each of you who are from different media institutions, if you want to include on your team a travel enhancer, do it. And since you people are part of a press school here and you talk among yourself, you can ask, okay, you're busy already bringing Nima and Lofa right there. Spoon, bring Piah and Gura. KMTV, bring Crime, Madigo. You, that, all of a sudden you have all the tribes here that you want to see. But the ministry's press conference is eventually relayed and repeated on multiple community radio stations. In addition to the fact that ELBC has, how do you call the station? I know they get Metro, which is for music, and they get a lot of language. Yeah, they got their language stuff, and all that you hear on that language portion is programming in the dialects. And I'm sure part of what they do is when the press conference is over, the language broadcasters can translate the things we say here into the vernacular to broadcast it to our people across the country. So the fellow who asked for the stretch of road, you say he leaves from what they got time?
Yeah, 2 city views.
It's a good question, but I don't have the answer because I'm not the Minister of Public Works. I will elevate your concern to the Minister of Public Works so that by the next time I come back, I will have an answer for you. Sodomy. You see, what do you call it sodomy? It's sex. It's just that men going with men. So, if a man, for example, forces somebody, forces another man into having sex, it's still covered, it is covered under the rape law and can be defined as such. So that's the reason why the people who had a case, the reported case with a 15-year-old, that's why they are still in jail, because the rape law says if the persons you had your sexual interaction with is a minor, then of course you beyond that bar until the matter is adjudicated, unbelievable. So I just guess that is strong. And if you look at how laws are made, and the one you make in reference to that specifically defines sodomy, because sodomy will also qualify depending on the circumstance on which is happening, the rape law will take precedence. But if there is a need, like you said, that they can revisit whatever that law is, strengthen it out, there will be anything wrong with it. Yes, I announced here based on report from the Ministry of Education about the action they took against the school. If the school have resumed activity according to what you said, they've met the conditions of their penalty. But if they do it in an unauthorized manner, we verify that from the Ministry of Education. But we bring it to the attention that this is what some of you who are media people said. When we spoke to the MRU presidential staff, after all the law that he said the laws have stopped. The laws stopped because we provided the information that was not there before. But if you're in the press conference that day, we did say it's a government of Liberia project, meaning the government was the key funder, but that we're engaging our Minor River Union partners so that they too will have an impact financially or whatever it is on the project. At that point, we didn't say what they are getting because we didn't have the facts. I also can't say now whether they're getting anything, but the program solicits additional support. And those support will include from MRU partners. So the government had done this part. We gave the university 40 million in the budget. We gave them 6 million for renovation. When the renovation starts, that's a good question, but probably you don't ask the Bureau Administrator because they, if the government put money in the budget, say for the Ministry of Information to be refurbished. You got the leadership of the Ministry of Information, you got to put that refurbishment into action. So maybe when you see Dr. Piah will be people after and say, look, the government has said they gave you 6 million. And we're watching, we want to see whether the renovation work they have started. We see it when you start. Then maybe Dr. Piah will tell you exactly when they intend to start the renovation. But from the perspective of the government, we see it as an imperative. That's why we put the money there. And we hope they can do all the things they're supposed to do, including procurement process to hire a contractor, etc., so that the renovation work on the university's facilities can kick off. No, am I aware that the ministry has updated in home country or whatever you mentioned? But it is something that we can check. If the government is putting measures together to improve security, those measures will be security information. It will not be for me to come to a press conference and say this is what the government will do, this is the strategy that we use, this is the other thing we will do to enhance security. Then you are supposed to the whole security thing in the first place. But the government knows that its primary responsibility included is the protection of life and property. How they do it is something that security sector people plan and execute on a routine basis. They don't come and discuss those plans and strategies publicly. The government has made its position clear on the fuller security group. What is said to you that government knows about it, the same government is saying no, government say we know about it. The government position is the government position. Whether they face something squarely, you are all agreements, forget about you being journalists. Do we want to have traveling, motivated security arrangement all across our country? And the better people wake up in the morning say, have better security, national security guard, kissing national security guard, crown national security guard. I mean, just think about it. It's not for me to convince you, but you are leaders, like I said. Think about what kind of country we want to have. The national security forces of the country got the obligation to protect. Here we listen to things that some people say, oh yeah, they're there to protect us, doing this one, doing this. Every one of us who need protection will get the protection from the state. If you're going to take in something and you don't believe that the environment for why you're going to take in is safe, that's what the national police is there for. You can't say because you want security, so your crime group, you start forming crime, minor group, you're forming minor security group. It's not heard of. And the government has said in clear terms through the Ministry of Justice, no such group exists, and they will not encourage the establishment and operation of travel-based security arrangements. That remains the government position. Security part of Sierra Leone, hoping that you can also extend it to Ivory Coast and Guinea. That's a conversation we can have with the National Security Council. And the word of one already exists, or they're working towards one. I think those were your questions. Maybe or something that you can remind me, but we just talked also when we're getting ready to start the press conference. The distinguished personality walked in So he's Dr. Moses. They say Blokanje. Blokanje. So it's a bastard. Dr. Moses Blokanje Jackson, former Assistant Minister for Teachers Education under the Ellen Johnson Saliba administration. I guess currently he's a lecturer at Stella Marriage Graduate School at the Adventist University Graduate School. He's a member of the board of LIPA and a citizen of Riverside County. So Chief, we just wanted to recognize you and say thank you for passing through to see what we do here every Tuesday and Thursday in the MOI Press. But just in case there was a desire to really use 1 minute or 2 minutes to say something, then grant you that honor. It's okay? No. So thank you for today. You guys will meet again on Tuesday, but then we will not be here. So we probably work again. I hope whatever processes, medical processes are going through is making stronger. I might better be able to travel over the weekend as I should. And I guess we'll be here next week with the acting minister, Dr. Sandra.
So that's 8:04 to the press briefing here at the Ministry of Information.
That's all we have for
So that's 8:04 to the press briefing here at the Ministry of Information. Also to the MOI Press briefing was addressed by Honorable Journalist Piah, our Ministers of Information, the Minister for Press and Public Affairs, Honorable Daniel Otesano. He introduced the press briefing. So until then, do join us next Tuesday for another edition of MOI Press briefing. Once again, my name is Masiami Koning. Thanks for following.